Welcome back to Hard Hat Chat. I'm Justin Smith, CEO of Contractor Plus, and joining me as always is Gerritt Bake, CEO of BuildPro. Today we're opening the door to a topic that every contractor has dealt with at some point, one that tests patience, paperwork skills, and sometimes sanity. Today's topic may cause heart rates to rise in contractors listening across the country, because we're stepping into territory that's part strategy, part frustration, part negotiation, and occasionally part cage match without gloves. Insurance claim battle. Who's winning? Is it the homeowner? Is it the contractor? Is it the adjuster? Or is it the mysterious silent fourth character in this story? The insurance company algorithm that denies claims with the emotional empathy of a toaster.
And this topic hits personal for a lot of contractors because insurance work has turned into its own economy. It's no longer just fixing something that went wrong. It's documentation theater, negotiation chess, follow-up fatigue, and learning how to speak fluent insurance language. There's English, Spanish, and insurance. And in the insurance alphabet, the letters A, B, and C stand for already been cut.
The irony is wild because homeowners think insurance work is this easy path to money. They think insurance pays, contractor fixes, homeowner smiles. But the real story is closer to contractor documents, insurance delays, contractor calls again, insurance sends a different adjuster, the new adjuster disagrees with the old adjuster, and the contractor ends up in a philosophical debate about water migration as if they're testifying in front of the Supreme Court.
Not to mention, homeowners assume contractors love insurance jobs. They'll say things like, "Don't worry, insurance will pay for it," with that confident voice like they're announcing a prize, not a process. Contractors hear that sentence and flash back to memories of arguing over 2 feet of wire on a supplemental claim.
Insurance work used to be a handshake. Something broke, something flooded, something burned, something snapped. Fix it, file paperwork, invoice paid. Now it's fix it, document it, justify it, negotiate it, wait, follow up, wait again, explain again, send more photos, meet the adjuster on site, explain why walls don't dry faster just because a spreadsheet thinks they should, and then maybe you get approved for 60% of the job if the wind was blowing west that day.
And the question eating at contractors is who is actually winning? The homeowner? Because they get the work done, but suddenly discover deductibles, exclusions, depreciation, coverage limits, and coverage categories they didn't know existed. The contractor, because they get the job, but earn the money 6 months later with 3 extra employees dedicated strictly to the follow-up. Or the insurance company, who collects premiums quickly and pays slowly.
Let's talk timing, because this is where contractors feel the pain most. A homeowner calls you with urgency, because insurance claims always start with urgency. Something got damaged, something failed, something broke, water is moving, electrical is sparking, roof is leaking. The homeowner wants it fixed today, but the moment insurance gets involved, time slows down like someone put life in slow motion, while the contractor's invoices, payroll, fuel bills, and suppliers operate in real time. Contractors live in a world where you solve the problem fast, but you get reimbursed slow.
Meanwhile, homeowners live in a world where they want fast results, but believe that because they pay premiums, everything should be covered, as if insurance is a membership to the Build Anything We Want club. And adjusters live in a world where every yes requires justification, every material has depreciation, and every claim
Is viewed through the lens of statistics and risk management. What complicates this entire dynamic is communication. Homeowners are emotionally attached to the problem because it's their house. Insurance is emotionally detached because it's their system. Contractors get stuck in the middle as translators, negotiators, educators, therapists, and occasionally referees.
And contractors are learning that the real skill in insurance work isn't swinging the hammer. It's explaining why the hammer swing is justified according to the policy outline. You're not arguing whether the wall needs repairing. You're arguing which line item the wall belongs under and whether the insurance language calls it damage, defect, deterioration, or disintegration.
And here's the complicated part. Homeowners assume you're on their side. Insurance assumes you're inflating to profit. And the contractor sometimes isn't sure which side pays them faster, so neutral becomes the only politically safe position, all while trying to protect the customer's home without sabotaging the business.
And contractors end up explaining to homeowners why the insurance company didn't approve the full amount. And homeowners think the contractor is lying because they see the number on the policy and assume it's like a gift card at a store. They think coverage up to 50,000 means we automatically give you 50,000. No. Insurance policies are written with more fine print than terms of service agreements on websites. Nobody reads before clicking accept.
Which brings us to trust, the currency of this battle. The contractor needs the homeowner to trust that they're advocating, not exaggerating. The homeowner needs the contractor to deliver without feeling abandoned. The adjuster needs to trust the documentation, and the insurance company needs to protect their business model. It's a triangle where everyone expects something, but nobody fully believes the other. But there's another perspective. Insurance companies aren't pure villains.
They're businesses. They're managing risk. And yes, they deny claims, delay claims, reduce claims, but they also deal with fraud, inflated invoices, staged damage, and people who suddenly remember damage that must have happened months ago. The distrust didn't appear out of nowhere.
Exactly. Everyone has reasons for their caution. Contractors have been burned. Homeowners have been shocked. Insurance companies have been played. And now this three-way partnership operates like a relationship where everyone signed a prenup.
So who is winning? Hard to say. Homeowners win when coverage works. Contractors win when documentation aligns with expectations. Insurance companies win when claims are justified, clear, and controlled. But the real losers are unclear communication, unrealistic expectations, and the assumption that insurance exists to fix everything in the house from the roof to the recycled art projects on the fridge.
This isn't just a battle over money, it's a battle over understanding. Next, we'll get into the strategies, the psychology, and the reality of how contractors can navigate this maze without losing their profit, their patience, or their mind.
Because the insurance game isn't disappearing, it's evolving. And contractors who evolve with it will survive. Contractors who don't might be fighting a battle they didn't realize changed rules years ago.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short break. And hey, if you're a contractor looking to scale your business without adding more chaos, check out Contractor Plus. It's the only app you'll ever need to run your business from start to finish. CRM, estimates, invoices, and payments. Everything contractors need to manage jobs, stay organized, and grow their business in one place. Win more work, save time, and run a smarter operation with Contractor Plus. All right, we're back. And now we're stepping deeper into the actual battlefield contractors have to walk across when insurance gets involved. And let's be honest, this part of the conversation either makes contractors lean in, or they suddenly get flashbacks and want to turn the podcast off. But this is the important side because insurance claims are no longer about repairing damage. They're about navigating process.
And the word process sounds harmless until you've lived it. Most homeowners have this belief that filing a claim means they push the magic button. The contractor shows up, insurance pays, the world is whole again. But the real rhythm goes more like file the claim, wait, adjuster calls, then another adjuster calls. Someone emails something without a subject line, photos get uploaded, someone asks for more photos with a measuring tape in them as if the tape wasn't lying about its height. The third-party inspection happens, a desk adjuster reviews a report written by someone who has never put on work boots. Then something gets approved, something gets denied, something requires reevaluation, and the contractor is still waiting to be paid for the emergency dryout they completed 3 Mondays ago.
The most accurate phrase contractors joke about is, we fixed the house in a week and we chased the claim for 6 months. And that's the tension. The urgency of the problem is real. Water doesn't care about paperwork. Smoke doesn't care about desk approval timelines. A hole in a roof doesn't say, we'll wait until underwriting has completed analysis. Damage is impatient. Payment is not. and the contractor becomes the middle manager of chaos. They're calming the homeowner, coordinating crews, documenting everything with 97 photos per room, sending updates that feel like progress reports, and trying to stay
Professional while also knowing the homeowner is wondering if they're being overcharged and the insurance company is wondering if they're being overbilled.
That's the irony. The contractor is both trusted and scrutinized. One minute you're the hero who showed up during the storm, the next minute you're the subject of a spreadsheet review. Contractors deal with emotional gratitude from homeowners and unemotional analysis from claims departments at the same time. It's like getting hugged and audited.
And let's talk about the psychology of dealing with adjusters. Adjusters are not the villain. They're doing the job with pressure from their side. Some adjusters are collaborative, understanding, and actually listen. Others approach the situation like they're playing poker and your estimate is a bluff. And contractors have to read that dynamic quickly. Are we negotiating facts or battling opinions? Are we clarifying scope or battling definitions?
The emotional load is heavy, and contractors don't talk about that part enough. You're dealing with a family devastated by water or fire damage. They're not just stressed, they're traumatized. Their home is disrupted, their schedule is disrupted, their finances are uncertain. The contractor becomes their new emergency contact more than their service provider. And trying to navigate that while chasing approvals and answering endless emails creates a different fatigue than physical labor ever did.
The public has no idea how many hats a contractor wears in insurance work. In a single week, you're a builder, a photographer, a negotiator, a policy interpreter, a counselor, a messenger, and occasionally the person delivering disappointing news. And that last role might be the hardest, because when something isn't covered, homeowners often assume the contractor is the one withholding. No one blames the system. They blame the person standing in front of the drywall.
And this leads to the biggest elephant in the case file. Trust gets damaged faster than drywall. Homeowners think the contractor is padding numbers. Insurance thinks the contractor is padding numbers. The contractor thinks the insurance company is cutting corners. And miscommunication becomes the real injury, not the water or fire.
There's also a cultural misunderstanding. Contractors are problem solvers by nature. Insurance companies are risk managers by design. Those are two different languages. A problem solver wants to fix the problem as thoroughly and quickly as possible. A risk manager wants to ensure the solution aligns with policy, cost containment, and precedent. That's not sabotage, but it feels like it when the solution takes longer than the damage took to appear.
So let's answer the real question. Can contractors win in insurance work? The answer is yes, but not by accident. The contractors who win don't go into claims blind. They treat insurance work like its own business model. They understand wait times are part of the rhythm. They manage expectations early, not after the invoice. They communicate scope with language homeowners understand, not just examinate codes. They advocate without antagonizing and negotiate without emotional combustion.
But let's also acknowledge that winning doesn't always mean walking away smiling with a check in hand. Sometimes winning is walking away with your sanity, your schedule intact, your reputation maintained, and your relationship with the homeowner still strong enough that they refer you, even if the claim didn't cover everything.
The battle is rarely contractor versus homeowner, but it becomes that if communication fails. The battle is rarely contractor versus insurance, but it becomes that if assumptions replace clarity. The battle is almost always against the uncertainty created by the process, and uncertainty is expensive.
Which brings us to the future, because insurance claims aren't going away, they are increasing. Weather events, aging infrastructure, more complex homes, more expensive materials, claims will keep coming. The question is, how will contractors adapt? Because the ones who adapt first become the go-to experts, not just the service providers.
Next, we're going to close this episode by talking about who actually wins in these battles long term, how the industry is evolving, and whether the future belongs to the contractor, the insurer, or the homeowner. or if the future requires all three to change how they approach claims altogether. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short break. And hey, if you're a contractor looking to scale your business without adding more chaos, check out Contractor Plus. We're back, and this is where everything we've talked about comes together. Because the question we opened with, who's actually winning, doesn't have the simple answer people want. When you're down in the trenches of insurance claims, it never feels like winning. It feels like endurance. It feels like noise. It feels like a marathon with paperwork taped to your legs.
Contractors sometimes say, I win when the check clears. Homeowners say, I win when the work is done and paid for. Insurance says, we win when the claim is accurate and justified. But winning can't be defined as just money changing hands. Winning has to be measured as trust preserved, time respected, expectations managed, and damage resolved without collateral damage to relationship.
And that's where we land the idea that winning isn't a singular trophy, it's a shared outcome. When the homeowner walks away feeling they were heard, protected, and guided through uncertainty, that's a win. When the contractor gets paid fairly, on time, and is treated as a professional instead of a suspicion, that's a win. When the insurance company approves work that aligns with the policy and keeps fraud in check, that's a win. But those three wins only happen when one party stops playing tug of war and starts playing communication.
The insurance world isn't built on speed, it's built on verification. That frustrates contractors because construction is physical and fast. You swing, you build, you fix. Insurance is conceptual and cautious. You propose, you justify, you wait. It's the clash of urgency and process, and neither side is totally wrong. Urgency matters when water is spreading. Process matters when fraud exists. These systems were built with opposite goals, yet somehow they have to dance together without stepping on every toe.
Let's talk long-term positioning. Contractors who treat insurance claims like regular retail jobs are always frustrated because the rhythm is different, the timeline is different, the emotional temperature is different. Winning requires understanding the game, not resenting it. The most successful insurance-focused contractors aren't more talented with tools, they're more talented with expectations. They frame the journey before the journey starts. They don't say, don't worry, insurance will cover it. They say, insurance is a process, not a promise, and we're going to go through it together.
And here's where the emotional intelligence of a contractor becomes just as valuable as the hammer. A homeowner going through an insurance claim isn't just requesting service, they're requesting stability. They're asking for someone to protect their sense of normal. The contractor becomes the familiar face in a disrupted environment. You're walking into their anxiety, not just their living room.
There's also the branding side of this conversation. Contractors who navigate insurance claims well become legends in neighborhoods. People talk. They remember the company that showed up when the ceiling collapsed. They remember the one who communicated instead of disappearing. They remember the one who didn't blame the system but helped them work through it. That goodwill becomes referrals. That reputation becomes future revenue. Winning is sometimes delayed profit, not instant payment.
And we should acknowledge something else. Sometimes the contractor genuinely loses money on a claim. Sometimes the homeowner feels shorted. Sometimes insurance pays less than expected. Sometimes frustration wins instead of people. That's part of the reality. But here's the curveball. The contractor who communicates the truth before the disappointment often walks away with respect instead of resentment.
Because disappointment without communication becomes betrayal. Disappointment with communication becomes understanding. The claim itself may not be perfect, but the relationship can still be preserved. That is its own form of winning.
So let's answer the real headline. Who's winning insurance claim battles? The ones who communicate clearly, the ones who document without assuming, the ones who set expectations instead of dodge them, the ones who stay calm when the process tests patience, the ones who see themselves as guides, not just contractors.
And if you're a contractor listening to this and you felt the frustration of claims, the delays, the back and forth, the feeling of being stuck between gratitude and pushback, remember this: you're not alone. Every contractor in America has a story about claims. The difference is whether those stories end in bitterness or business.
Homeowners aren't the enemy. Insurance companies aren't always the villain. Contractors aren't always the hero. The system is complicated because the stakes are high. That's why the winners are the ones who build systems around claims, not opinions about them.
The future of insurance work will belong to the contractors who treat claims like a specialty, who train teams to communicate, who track documents, who educate customers instead of react to them. The ones who know the policy language not because they're trying to manipulate it, but because they're trying to align with it.
And if the customer trusts you, they'll follow your lead. If the insurance company trusts your documentation, they'll approve faster. If the contractor trusts the process instead of fighting the concept, they'll exhaust less energy. Trust is the momentum here, not aggression.
Insurance claims aren't going anywhere. Storms aren't stopping. Pipes aren't promising never to burst again. Homes aren't becoming invincible. The question isn't whether claims continue, it's whether contractors handle them with frustration or with strategy.
Who's actually winning? The ones who adapt, the ones who explain, the ones who don't overpromise, the ones who don't panic when the claim pauses, the ones who understand that the real prize isn't the check, it's the reputation that brings the next check.
That's where we'll end this one. Insurance claim battles aren't about winners and losers. They're about how each party walks away furious, frustrated, confused, or confident. And confidence only comes from clarity.
This has been Hard Hat Chat. Communicate early, communicate often, and build trust like your business depends on it, because it does.
We'll see you on the next episode.